looking into the future, we know that. Well, I mean, it seems very sure that we're getting a Boba Fett film by old mate Logan, writer director, and also, I mean, it's pretty certain that we'll get an Obi-Wan film in the future. But I feel like what we could get, and this is just my theory from this film, and it just depends on where they would put Obi-Wan in their release schedule. But I feel like, next year we've got the conclusion to the trilogy that J.J. Abrams started, and that'll be the close of, I think, the Skywalker saga. Because, Luke's gone, Leia will not be there, Han will not be there. I think it'll be the close of that a 3-trilogy arc, and we won't do that sort of thing again. But I think this film is setting up a trilogy. It's, and I think that each film will, in the same way a kind of a TV series works, each film will be separate, but will end up tying all together. So we've got this film, which sets up Han, it sets up Chewie, and it sets up the Crimson Sun with Darth Maul and Kira. And then we've got the Boba Fett film, which I think, because a lot of people want it to be set after Return of the Jedi, and maybe it will be, Boba's escape, but what if it actually is in the same way, kind of where Boba went after his dad died and stuff, and the job that Beckett is like, there's something on Tatooine, which was a great line as well, and it's clearly Jabba the Hutt, and Jabba the Hutt, is after Han's money all through the original trilogy, and in the original trilogy we find out that it's because Han dropped some cargo, and they lost money like he did in this film, which I thought was going to be that thing, like Jabba was giving them the big heist and he ended up dropping that cargo, but it wasn't what
it seems like almost the same like group of people kind of thing, like there's just one guy that's sort of I totally agree with you. I hadn't thought about it, not being as in tune with the Star Wars movies as you are, but just you saying it then, I'm like, hey, yeah, it totally could have been a Jabba the Hutt thingy.
That's where I thought it would have been. But, so what I think the Boba Fett film might be, is that Boba Fett takes a job from Jabba and he's like, I've set up a crew. Obviously, he says it in Jabba speak. I've set up a crew, there's some people you work with, and it'll probably be Boba Fett. It'll probably be one of the obscure bounty hunters from Empire that are in that lineup, and I think it'll be Han and Chewie. And I think that's where we get more Alden and Chewie, and they are on a job, and the reason that Boba Fett hates Han is something happens in this Boba Fett film, and that's where Han drops the cargo. So not just Jabba wants money from Han, but Boba Fett hates Han because he dropped the cargo and he didn't get his cut. And I think so that Boba Fett film will continue the Han Solo story, and in there we'll also get a bit more Darth Maul, and then the third film will be like Maul or something, and it'll be all about that, and it'll be the wrap up of that. And Han will pop in and Boba Fett. So it'll be a 3-part thing that focus on different characters, but it all ties into this Crimson Sun side story that they set up in this film. Is my idea.
That would be really cool. I'm almost feeling like a Marvel thing. So they're gonna have all these solo movies, pardon the pun, and then it'll lead into like a joint one later where it's like Han and Boba and
Boba Fett and stuff,
Obi-Wan and just everyone together. That would be pretty cool.
But at the same time, the one problem would be that Han can't meet Obi-Wan and he can't meet Maul because he doesn't believe in the Force. So that's the one tricky thing.
Yes, he could potentially somehow be involved without them ever meeting. Because I love it when...
Yeah, because he's got Kira.
Yeah, it's almost like Westworld does that. There's like so many side stories happening at once that all contribute to the main story, but they never cross.
But yeah, so that's my idea. And taking, the idea, like you said, of Marvel, I think they could do a similar kind of Infinity War thing with Maul being the main character, and because Maul, from Rebels and from Clone Wars, they make him more like Thanos, a villain you can understand. So I think that could be cool, because I'm sure there are people that watch Solo and were like, didn't he die? So I think they have to do something so the public kind of understand it. Although in the film, I do like that they draw attention to his metal legs. Like when he stands up, it's like, nyeh.
Who was that?
Darth Maul. So when he stands up, you can hear the robotic legs as he stands up.
That
so
is
it's like
just so something Will would notice. I did not notice that at all.
yeah. So
Oh,
you
man.
see and hear him, and it's kind of like it's for the general audience. So when they're like, but didn't he cut? And it's like, oh, okay. So apparently he has robot legs. Okay.
Right.
So it's for the general audience. They don't have to know the big, massive backstory,
okay.
but they can see that something happens. That was just a small chunk from our big old podcast about Solo, a Star Wars story, filled with more dumb stuff than you can poke a stick at. Click the link below to hear it in full. Go on, give it a cheeky click.